Hello and welcome back to Bookmark Chronicles. Today I'm doing the Blackoween Tag. So this is a new tag that Brie created to accompany all of the wonderful things that we already have going on with Blackoween this year. So we're gonna jump into the questions. Question one is, how did you hear about Blackoween? And I think it might have been Ashley who was participating and had linked to Brie's channel, and I think that's how I discovered Brie. It was around Blackoween time, I think. I definitely know that I wasn't following Brie at the time because I just hadn't found her channel yet, and so I found her through someone else, and that's how I found out about Blackoween. The next question is, how many years have you participated in Blackoween? This will be my second year. Brie asked me to be a co-host last year, so that was my first time participating. I'm typically not a huge fan of readathons. I think that sometimes the prompts and the restrictions and things make it difficult for me to participate in them, even though I am someone who sticks to a TBR. A lot of times readathon prompts can be super specific to the point where I feel like it's just a little too much, but I've really enjoyed participating in Blackoween, so I'm excited to be back for another year. Next is, what favorite book did you read during Blackoween that still sits with you? And I think I was most surprised by the African Immoral series by Tana Ritu. It was my first time reading anything by this author, even though I've heard fantastic things. And it just ended up being so much more complex than I think I expected to. Then again, did I read the synopsis before going into it? Probably not, but also even with what little I knew about it, it was just so much more detailed than I originally thought it would be, and I really enjoyed that about it. Next is, what kind of crime fiction do you enjoy reading? And I really love stabby things, you know? I love a little murder mystery. I want to love cozy mysteries, but they just don't always work for me. So anything stabby. I love murder. I love multiple POVs. I love trying to figure out who the killer is. Even better, if you do know who the killer is and you're just waiting for him to get caught. What are 3 to 5 books on your Blackoween TBR this year? I have the second book in the African Immortal series, which is The Living Blood. I also want to read something by Brandon Massey. I chose Nana. I have not read anything by him yet, so I'm really excited about that. And Like a Sister by Kelly Garrett. I'm hoping that this can kind of be like my second chance for this author and I end up enjoying it, since I did DNF her cozy mystery series. Next is, what kind of content do you love to see during Blackoween? And for me, it's all of it, especially TBRs though. I will say that because I always find new things to add to my overall TBR, but also new things to add for future years in Blackoween, because I don't really read crime fiction all that much, to be honest. I mostly like watch that genre. It's not something that I read that often, but now that I have gotten into it, I just love finding other things from other people, especially if they have tastes that align with mine. Next is, have you read a book from an author that was interviewed during Blackoween? And I'm not sure. I know there were author interviews last year, but I didn't make a lot of them. I'll have to take a look back and see what other authors were interviewed and if I've read anything by them. But again, this is not a genre that I read that often, so probably not. What is an ambitious read for you for Blackoween this year? And I don't think any of my reads in particular are super ambitious. I think what's ambitious is the volume, because I'm trying not to overdo it, trying not to do too much. And I chose like the middle detective role because I didn't want to overshoot it or undershoot it. But I am really tempted to read some of the group picks. So I think if I can complete my actual TBR so that I can get the detective role done in the graveyard, then mayhaps I will add some other things, especially the group reads, because a lot of them do seem really good. What are you looking forward to the most for Blackoween this year? And at the end of Blackoween last year, we did sort of a host pajama party and we recapped the month, talked about what we want for the future years, and I really liked that. It was really fun. So I hope that we do that again this year. I also think that it was just like a really good time to really give Brie her flowers, because she puts in so much work into this, and I know it's hard for her to accept compliments sometimes, but having everyone talk about how proud of her they are and how great the readathon has become over the years, it's a really nice moment, and I really like that for her. And the last question is, what is a book with a beautiful cover that counts for Blackoween? For this one, I'm going to go with Forging a Nightmare. I read this last year and I really liked it, but also I just really fucking love this cover, right? This would count for a murder with multiple POVs, body parts, because there is a serial killer who is going after people who have an additional finger, I think. It would also count for ancestral knowledge, and I'm sure there are a few other things, but I really like this cover. Those are all the questions in the Blackoween tag. I will have Bree's channel linked. I'll have her announcement video linked, which is where you can go if you want merch, the map, the Tulis Parish Decree, all of the icons and images and all that fun stuff. If you missed my Blackoween TBR, I will also have that linked for you. Otherwise, let me know what you are planning to read for Blackoween-a-thon this year, and I'll see you in the next video.